Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. And now after getting our bearings here in the pocket plane, we're almost ready to move on and take our challenge of Retribution. But first we're going to properly sort Saravok's equipment. Like in the last episode, I don't know what I was thinking with this amulet of missiles, for example. It was late, so I guess nothing's changed this time as well. But anyway, I have thought things through a little bit and just wanted to show this on camera. We're going to first switch some stuff around on Jaheira and on Anomen, on many of our characters. So Jaheira is going to get the Cloak of Protection +2 because the improved haste coming from the cloak is much better spent on her because she is going to be able to have 9 attacks with it than on Anomen. So Anomen is going to get the Ring of Protection +2 and Cloak of the Sewers combo. The Ring of Gax is actually going to go to Saravok, who is going to be able to stack the 10% coming of magic resistance coming from his Sword of Chaos, 10% from the Ring of Gax, and he's also going to get this amulet of magic resistance, so he is going to end up having 30% magic resistance, which is pretty nice actually. This should keep him a little bit more safe, and this should work for him every once in a while. Also, this amulet of spell warding is going to go to Kirinai, and we are going to get the old and trusty amulet against poison and give it to Imoen. Just like she had it set up before. Also, Saravok is now going to be able to get Namara, and he's also going to get Albruin, so he's going to be able to cast some utility stuff every once in a while. Also, he's going to be a good user for that wave halberd. We're also going to dump some stuff on him, some potions. He can get the Rod of Resurrection, he can get this Ifriti summoning item. We can sort our stuff here. And now we're done. So we have oh yeah, almost done. Saravok also needs to pick this stuff up from the ground. He's going to keep the wands for now. We're going to sell them soon, or some of them. We don't need quite as many of them now that we only have 2 mages. Although Kirinai can use wands as well, but you know, some of the wands have kind of outlived their usefulness now that we are in Throne of Bhaal, and their effects are just not that powerful. Also, this Mask of King Strom, I'm just going to put it into this stash so it doesn't bother me on the ground, because it's not going to despawn as it is a quest item. And anyway, now we can get on with our challenge, but as you can see, there are some other passages that are barred for now. Those are the other 4 challenges here that are going to unlock as we go through the expansion. So in time, we are going to be able to get to them as well. And now we are all, well, except Saravok, we are fatigued, and we of course have only the last remnants of our resources after our fights with Irenicus and Ilasera, but I kind of don't want to rest yet, I think. I think this fight, because this challenge is going to involve a fight, is going to be more fun if we just go and try to make the best of what we have left. And yeah, let's just go in and see what they have prepared for us. Prepare to be eviscerated, fool.
Prepare to be eviscerated, fool.
So here's Gavid, or Gavid. You're one of us. You're one of the Bhaalspawn, aren't you? Oh, but you needn't worry about me. I'm dead. I'm a nobody. I grew up in a small farming village. I didn't even know what I was until they came for me. But I knew I was different. You can hear the screams at night, can't you? You can feel the blood of the murdered, how it flows all around you, 1,000 different pains, and you're nothing but a solitary echo. But it's not terrible. It's inviting. It calls to you. And if you give in to it, if you offer your entire heart up to it, everything becomes crystal clear. 1 murder, 2, 1,000, it all becomes part of you. I murdered 3 of the local girls until I was driven out. And then I went to the city. Murder was easier there, and I felt the call every night. You can taste life, you know, and it is divine. But you resisted, don't you? Why would you do that? I can feel you've murdered many, and yet you resist all the good that we alone, the Bhaalspawn, can appreciate. After all, the only thing you need to fear is retribution. And this part here is different depending on your alignment. Because we are good aligned, he says, of course, that we resist it. If we are evil, he's going to have a line about us, you know, surrendering to that call. And also, this whole fight is going to be different. And this is basically just a long endurance round where there's going to be a lot of opponents that just keep spawning and spawning, and then at the end we're going to have basically 3 mini bosses to deal with. Gavin is going to go away, leave us here. And yeah, the opponents are going to get progressively more difficult, and because we are good aligned, we're going to meet like normal monsters, some, well, basically evil monsters like the Sahuagin and some kobolds and gnolls and whatnot, and also the Drow later on. And we're also going to have like the 3 evil mini-bosses, I guess. And if we are evil aligned, our opponents would be first commoners, and then we would fight the surface elves and also knights of the Order of the Radiant Heart later on, and the 3 bosses at the end would be different, but I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit later. So anyway, there are going to be 3 spawn points for these opponents, and we're just going to have Saravok, I think, on our western flank. And we're going to probably have like Jaheira and Senashira maybe in the center, and Anomen and Kirinai, and we'll see about Imoen, are going to kind of take care of the northern opponents. So first there are going to be some kobold archers, some doppelgangers for us here. Of course, Saravok complains because he is evil aligned and we have 20 reputation. And of course, this is very easy for now. Later on, when some more powerful opponents are going to start spawning and at an increasing rate, we are going to fall behind when it comes to our killing speed here. But for now, of course, this is just a routine cleanup. It's kind of like, you get a kill, and you get a kill, and you get a kill. Everyone gets one. Everyone gets some. Even Imoen can shoot some kobolds. Boom. Alright, now there's the second phase. We're going to face the Sahuagin, gnolls, and ogre mages, I think. Yeah, gnolls on the left. And I think we're going to move Jaheira here. And there are going to be some ogre magi. They can cast charm and hold, I think. So we are going to have Kirinai at a distance with this Methyld's harp prepared that can dispel hold if anyone gets struck by that. And when it comes to their charm person, you know, it should be super unlikely for anyone to get affected by that because of how easy it is to save against a charm person. The spell has a save bonus on it. Just kind of looking here for these ogre magi. That's kind of want to get through their mirror images as quickly as possible. Yeah, they really try to charm Senashira whenever they can, it seems. No acid arrow, there, that's something different. I am not using any spells for now because I'm kind of trying to save them for a little bit later. Oh, this guy's casting hold person, I believe. They also start pre-buffed with shield, I think most of them. Yeah, so our magic missiles are of course not going to be effective against them to reduce quickly the amount of their mirror images. I think we are approaching the penultimate phase, and I think now I'm going to summon one aerial servant just to have a little bit of help. And there are going to be these Drow priestesses and Drow warriors spawning at the sides. So we're going to try to focus on interrupting the spells of the Drow priestesses because, of course, with SCS they are going to come with pre-buffs and an assortment of spells. So we don't really want them to be able to cast anything, really. Oh my god, I interrupted Hanuman's spell. Because I selected him and Jaheira. Well, there's a whole person coming on to Saravok. Was not effective. Yeah, there's quite a few of these priestesses that just spawned already. And once Animan's round ends in a couple of attacks, we are going to have him summon that aerial servant. That should provide to be a little bit of a help. We don't have Jaheira's Fire Elemental because we had those Dolorous Decays memorized on her for Irenicus' fight. And I don't want to... well, we don't really have anything that much more powerful. Because, of course, we don't have Edwin with us anymore. He had the Dark Planetar, I think, memorized. Even though I knew I really wasn't going to use that.
Show me.
I really need Animan's damage here. Alright, now he's done.
Yeah, whatever you want.
I await your command.
What is it? You asked for it.
There are some unholy blights flying around, but it's not a big deal. There's an enemy dead, but it seems like they are not even level 15 because of how wimpy this skeleton warrior is.
Yes? I am ready.
I hear you well
Your
enough.
mind. I thought as much. Oh, you wild
Of course, Saravok laughs at these unholy blights because he's evil, so they don't affect him. We really are having trouble just getting to these guys. There's a bit of a traffic jam with these priestesses. Alright, and now, basically, after we kill them, the boss fight is going to come. So I think what we need to do, we need to just take a little second and think about if we want to pre-cast some stuff. I think we're going to use this mirror image on Sinashira, and I think we're going to have Animan cast True Seeing, so that we have that active already once that fight starts. And Imoen doesn't really have all that much, although she is going to prepare a scroll that we're going to use. And we're going to use it very soon. We're going to need that limited wish. Right now, can I keep my mind in a wake enough state so as to not interrupt Animan again? That is the challenge, you know, just stay awake. Don't do anything stupid. Alright, last one here for us to kill. Alright, now let's take some distance. Let's cast that limited wish. And here, since we are good aligned, we're going to fight the reliable trio of Bodhi, Irenicus, and Saravok. If we were evil aligned, it would provide us... this setup would provide us with a little bit more variety, because we would be fighting Duke Eltan instead of this Wraith Saravok form, Elasim instead of Irenicus, and Aaron Linvale instead of Bodhi. And Aaron Linvale would be a Thief Mage, Elasim is a level like 27 Cleric, and Duke Eltan is a Berserker. So they are kind of like supposed to be similar to each other, but of course Irenicus being a level 30 mage with high level abilities and everything like that, and also Bodhi with all of her special abilities, although this version of her is not going to have all of her spells. I think she has all of the stats, and she has of course the level drain, the drink blood ability, all that, but she doesn't have all of the spells that she had in chapter 6. So she is slightly toned down, I guess, in this encounter. Irenicus, of course, is just fully powered, and Saravok is a tough fighter with plenty of different damage resistances. So we're actually going to have Saravok fight his Wraith form here. We're going to have some Saravok on Saravok action, and we are going to get some distance with our other characters. I think the notorious weakness that this version of Irenicus has is that he almost never has mantles or absolute immunities. So we can just switch to normal weapons and I think cut through his protections quite quickly. We'll see what he's going to have to offer us, and we're going to use this limited wish to give all of us protection from negative energy, so that we don't get level drained like crazy by Bodhi, because she can drain 5 levels per hit, of course. And yeah, we'll see about our weapons in a second. We'll see what Irenicus is going to start out with. There's already a remove magic coming at Animan, so let's actually move out of the way kind of differently. Yeah, we can have this aerial servant just keep itself busy for now, and yeah, let's see what happens here. Let's take a look at Irenicus's pre-buffs. So he does have Spell Shield, he has Spell Trap, and doesn't have Spell Immunity to anything, and he doesn't seem to have... Oh yeah, he does have Protection from Magical Weapons. So yeah, what we're going to do here, I think, is we are going to use our improved Cloaks of Protection. We are going to allow ourselves that, given our state and our depleted resources. We are going to use them on Senashira and on Jaheira, so they can get a nice amount of attacks, and then we're going to switch to normal weapons and just, well, try to to just zerg and, you know, crowd Irenicus there. And you, Animan, needs something. You can already start. Hopefully that... okay, his True Seeing actually got dispelled. Well, MON is going to get level drained, but we're going to have to deal with that. I was about to say, like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I don't remember if I finished my thought here, but of course the True Seeing of Anoman got dispelled by Irenicus's remove magic, so we cannot count on a tick of True Seeing to dispel all of his mirror images. But when we have all of our attacks that we need on Jaheira and Senashira, we are going to be able to cut through his stone skin and mirror images quickly anyway. Oh, Saravok, you need a little heal. Do you have your attacks yet? You do not. Oh, that remove magic must have... Yes. Or are you casting now? Okay, she is casting. Jeez. I am just completely out of it. Anyway, now both Senashira and Jaheira have their improved haste. So now they can switch to their normal weapons and just go, target Irenicus and never switch. Switch our attention. Just complete tunnel vision on Irenicus now. Alright, now this limited wish is being cast. Now also Imoen can get some normal bolts out of her. If I can click properly, she can get some normal bolts. And she is going to be using bolts instead of the Twig Bow. The Twig Bow would give her more attacks, but the bolts, the normal bolts, are a little bit better because here with Fire Tooth, that's the amazing thing about Fire Tooth and the fire damage that it has on it. That, you know, using normal bolts, we can bypass protection from magical weapons, but this fire damage is still going to be attached to our projectile. So even if he has stone skins and he casts something, we can bypass his protection from magical weapons with our normal bolt and still apply that fire damage and perhaps interrupt his spell with that 2 fire damage. Alright, we'll see what happens here. For some reason, Bodhi didn't drain Imoen's levels, but just used Drink Blood to drain Constitution of Imoen. Well, we'll see how that, how all of that goes. We're cutting through Irenicus's protections. Right now she's draining levels of Imoen, so just be on the run before we... Okay, now we want a repeatable wish, and we want to be protected from undead. Protection granted. Now we all have negative plane protection, so that is going to keep us safe for 5 rounds. Hopefully Irenicus is dead by then, and we're going to be able to direct all of our attention onto Bodhi.
What is it?
Okay, Saravok is badly injured, and our Saravok is also pretty badly injured. So the duel... Well, it's not really a fair duel, considering we have also this aerial servant. But it's, the fight rages on, and now I think we should be able to get to Irenicus in a second. actually dispelled illusions of Bodhi that for some reason dispelled her Death Shroud. Alright, he renews Stone Skin. We can also apply some more heals, I think. Not on Saravok yet. Right, we have to evacuate Saravok. He is not helping us with our fight against Irenicus because we don't have a normal, like, non-magical two-handed sword for him. And I think he still has protection from magical weapons. So we just need to kind of stay safe with Saravok and keep healing. Just like one more heal before we continue. Right, he has a contingency with protection from magical weapons. That doesn't matter for our normal weapons, of course. But we really need to just get this underway. And unfortunately, our improved haste is very likely to be dispelled now with these triple remove magics. So we'll see how we're going to be able to deal with. But we are dealing damage to him again. So we should be able to deal with him very soon and finally, like, this is about the time where we need to just deal with him, because we still have Bodhi on the loose and this badly injured Saravok. Alright, Irenicus, come on. You require assistance. Not anymore. Alright, cool. Now finally, we can just go onto Bodhi, switch our targets there, and hopefully apply a lot of damage. This is a little funny with, not sure how much this fight is improved by SCS. She should have a much greater artificial intelligence, yeah, and she should be, you know, willing to switch targets, seeing how low on health Saravok was for a minute, for example. You know, in SCS they usually like going for targets that are near death just to finish them off, but here this is this is just complete tunnel vision coming from Imwen. This reminds me of that improved Asylum fight with Thordek, which is a warrior there that just never switches targets. Alright, now you can switch your bolts and help with our damage a little bit here. I'm not using any, like, offensive spells because, of course, you know, Irenicus had all of his protections. Bodhi has like 70 magic resistance, and we have no way of reducing that. And I think this Saravok form has at least 50 magic resistance. Oh, she is still chasing Imwen. I wanted to attack with Imwen, but it seems like this is not going to happen. And I think we're just going to give ourselves some helmets to reduce that cold damage that's going to be reflected as we hit Bodhi now that she has renewed her Deathly Shroud. Okay, oh Saravok, don't block your sister. Don't be like that to your sister, Saravok. Alright, here's near death. Nice. And now we can just finish this. This was way messier than I intended it to be, but we got through it. Oh, Saravok, of course, has a lot of attacks here. Well, there he goes. Alright.
Yes, it will be done.
So, you survived Retribution. I didn't. But then, you know how to kill a lot better than I did. Strange thing is, the longer you survive, the more blood you have on your hands, and there's never an end to the Retribution. Or is there? So yeah, now our first challenge is done. We're going to get some personalized experience, Senashir a little bit more than the others, and we also got this ability Pocket Plane, which is going to allow us to leave and return to the Pocket Plane at will. So this is going to be something unique to Throne of Bhaal. Right, sometimes we can scavenge a little bit more potions, but we were slow with killing our opponents, so they of course used all of them. And yeah, and this almost took the whole episode already. Jeez. Time just flies when playing Baldur's Gate, man. But we are not done yet. Now that we have gotten the ability to leave the Pocket Plane, we are going to go, as was told to us, where we need to be, not just where we wish. And also, that reminds me of Saravok. You know, that's a really cool aspect of him, a really cool part of his character. as to how knowledgeable he is about the prophecies of Alondo, but unfortunately this is not really expanded much beyond his initial conversation in the rest of Throne of Bhaal. This would be really cool if he could provide some great insight here and there as we go through the expansion, knowing how knowledgeable he is. Because if you remember, once we visited Candlekeep in Baldur's Gate 1, that one monk, of course, told us about Saravok being there and reciting Alondo's prophecies with closed eyes, page after page, so he knew them by heart. He had memorized all of that. Yeah, like he stated, he might be the most knowledgeable person out there when it comes to Alondo's prophecies on the coming of the Bhaalspawn and that whole conflict. So it would have been really cool if there was a little bit more to it. But anyway, without resting still, we are going to go into the world and just do a little bit of a reconnaissance where we're headed.
The General is too busy to meet with the likes of these commoners. Move along and no one gets hurt.
These people represent the concerns of the entire town. Please, good soldiers, hear their case.
Our food is almost gone. Our children cry out in hunger. Your master must hear our pleas.
The plight of peasants is not Gromnir Ilkhan's concern. Stand aside, townsfolk.
If you know what's good for you, you'll all head back to your homes.
The army outside the city will surely kill us all. Your master cannot just turn his back on us.
Clear these gates. You won't get another warning.
Threats are not the answer here. Everyone stay calm and we can work together to find a solution.
Our orders are clear. Move these peasants along or we'll move them along ourselves.
No one do anything rash. Perhaps if we return later, when it is more convenient for Gromnir Ilkhan to see us.
No, Melisande. We will not be bullied this time. We will stay right here until they take us to Gromnir.
We demand to see Gromnir. Take us to Ilkhan.
There's just no reasoning with you people. You only understand the edge of a sword.
I told you to clear these gates. You brought this on yourselves!
No! Put down your weapons! This is not necessary! What's this? A child of Bhaal appears from nowhere? Impossible. Unless...
Intruders! Spies! The walls have been breached!
Slay the invaders! Attack!
No! Hold your weapons! These might be allies come to help!
Don't fall for their tricks. Kill them all, and let the gods sort them out.
Yeah, kill them first, ask questions later. So yeah, we arrive in the middle of a conflict here in this besieged city that we have seen in the cinematic. Saradush, like Saravok predicted, or knew, this is where the culmination of the prophecy is going to take place. A great slaughter is going to happen at the Tetherian city of Saradush. But anyway, here we have these Ilkhan soldiers to deal with, and what is pretty cool about this encounter is that all of them but two guys actually have non-magical weapons, so this is one little time when we can actually make use of our immunity to normal weapons coming from our chainmail here on Kiranai. That's why she is going to go into melee. And of course, after our Hell trials, now Senashira is immune to non-magical weapons and +1 enchanted. Only 2 of these soldiers have a halberd +2, so they are going to be the only ones that are going to be able to deal some damage to us. And everyone else can kind of retreat and assist Senashira and Kiranai from a distance, I guess.
Yes. Speak.
Yeah, I guess we can switch to our slings for a little bit. We haven't used these in a while. They are all berserkers. They use Warcry, which if this affects anyone, we of course have Remove Fear. I forgot to pre-buff with. But they also have Berserker Rage, and they have pretty good taco. This is where it really starts to show. Whenever we're dealing with like even simple enemies like these, you will see and feel the damage they can deal because of the improved taco all enemies have in Throne of Bhaal. And we also can give maybe these bolts of biting. I guess we can use on Saravok. Saravok shooting a crossbow. That's something unusual for him. Alright, you're done already. Some of them activate hardiness, actually. And what we're going to do is give these boots of speed for a moment to Kiranai, so that she can perhaps take the attention of some of these guys.
What is it?
Righteousness shall prevail!
As you can see, sometimes they get the message weapon ineffective. These are the ones that have normal weapons with them. This doesn't really matter, of course. This is a very simple fight, but you know, gotta take that opportunity, man, to try out that invulnerability.
Speak, this will not take long.
Greetings, I am Melisande, a friend. Welcome to Saradush. I regret your first encounter in this town was so bloody.
How do you know my name? I have watched the events of your life quite closely, Yaga-Shura, as I do with all the progeny of the Lord of Murder. I have seen many of your kin slain over these past months. Why are Bhaal's children of such interest to you? You might consider me to be a guardian, for want of a better term. I know the prophecies of Alondo. I know some feel they allude to the return of Bhaal to the realms. By taking an active interest in the fate of Bhaal's offspring, you and those like you, I hope to prevent the Lord of Murder from returning to the realms in any form. So you are just another person meddling in the fate of Bhaal's children. Oh, this music is so great, man. Melisande's theme. Oh, I love it. And it also plays during the epilogues, once we are finished with the game. It just brings a tear to my eye, man, during those epilogues. Anyway, I do not know how you came to be here, Yaga-Shura, but I fear you are now trapped here in Saradush like the rest of us. Trapped? By who? Beyond the walls of Saradush awaits the army of Yaga-Shura. They have laid siege to this town, seeking the death of all those here who share your tainted blood. Is there any hope of stopping this slaughter? First we must deal with General Gromnir, the man who now runs the city of Saradush. Gromnir is also a child of Bhaal and was once a powerful general. I brought him and his loyal men here to protect Saradush and the many Bhaalspawn gathered here seeking sanctuary. But Gromnir is mad. He has barricaded himself in the castle throne room, and his troops run amok through the town with no regard for the lives and rights of the citizens of Saradush. So, we are not approving of this cowardice. The actions of Gromnir and his soldiers have caused dissension within the town and made it almost impossible for the loyal Saradush militia to defend the walls. We must first defeat the enemy within, before we can end this siege. You must find a way to get inside the castle to Gromnir. Perhaps you can reason with him, but I fear he is beyond reason. I am afraid you will have to kill the general to give Saradush any hope of surviving the siege. I may be difficult to find after this, Yaga-Shura. The town suffers, and my hours are spent doing what I can for the people. If you have another question, I suggest you ask it now. So there are a few that we can ask. So who is this Yaga-Shura? Yaga-Shura is a Bhaalspawn, Yaga-Shura, perhaps as powerful as you yourself. He and his army will not rest until every child of Bhaal within these walls lies dead. Why is Yaga-Shura killing all the other Bhaalspawn? Until you prove yourself, there are some secrets I must keep to guarantee the safety of the people I have sworn to protect. If you wish to save yourself from Yaga-Shura, you will aid me regardless. So, keeping some secrets from us, eh, Melisande? That is not nice. I don't like that, you know. Strike one, Melisande. Yeah, we can ask about some provisions, and this actually gives us a little bit of a nice insight here. Understandably, most people will resent the presence of yet another Bhaalspawn in Saradush, but the innkeeper at the Tankard Tree is more tolerant than most, and the Temple of Joaquin will turn no one away. Any tips on getting into Gromnir's castle? She's not going to have anything useful to tell us. And we can ask also about how long this siege is going to take. The siege could last a few days or a few months. Act quickly, Sinashira, and may fortune shine on your mission. And so she just teleports out. And here we had one of the catapult projectiles fall on this peasant, and here her son is very, of course, distraught by that. We're going to be able to assist them in a second. Let's just scavenge some potions. And yeah, as you can see, non-magical weapons, there are, I think, just 2 + 2 halberds. Yeah, that should be it.
I can hold no more. That item has been dropped.
I'm going to sell them later. Alright, there we go. And yeah, we're basically going to devote the next episodes to exploring Saradush, this nice city here. But we are going to just get our bearings quickly here and get to safety, because these catapult projectiles can actually fall onto us and deal some decent damage and even knock us unconscious. So actually I'm going to just keep us spread out a little bit, in case we get unlucky. Oh, there it comes. Boom! Already Saravok took some damage, but he scoffs at that damage with his resistances and his saving throw. But anyway. Is you a Bhaalspawn? Of course, we're not going to eat him. So he is Tazit. Daddy got hit by the fire and fell down. I can't wake him up no matter what. Of course, his daddy is dead. And here, if we have a cleric resurrection spell memorized, or we have the Rod of Resurrection, we can actually raise him. Unfortunately, the Blessed Bracers here are not an option to use, so we're just going to use a charge of one of our Rods of Resurrection to just raise his dad. Yeah, so of course he had died. Now he's going to be very surprised to have been raised by a Bhaalspawn. And here this is basically one of the quite a few minor quests in Saradush that are going to give us reputation, and like these really minor personalized experience rewards, these are really baffling. But the reputation is here, of course, in case you start a new character, start a new game in Throne of Bhaal, they just give you an option to you know, get a few quick reputation points over the course of these local quests here. Yeah, you are a Bhaalspawn. I thought all Bhaalspawn were the very incarnation of evil and death. I see now I was wrong. And of course he was very grateful for us using a resurrection spell, which are of course expensive and not easy to come by. Yeah, that's our first little quest. And before we really get to exploring, we're just going to go into the Tanker Tree Inn, get our saves to safety. Once we are under a roof, we're not going to be able to be hit by any of these catapult projectiles. And yeah, I think we're going to stop here and resume in the next episode and see to all of the concerns of the people of Saradush. So for now, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.